So, if the 60s and 70s was the golden era, 80s and 90s was the Renaissance, what is the new age? Let's dive into it. Alright guys, welcome back to Rolling with T-Bone. As we're rolling out on Miss Kitty on a rather brisk morning, it's made it up into the 40s, I think. I've got my glove inserts on and under my gauntlets. We'll see how we do today and what we're doing today. If you're new here, welcome in. My name's T-Bone. I shoot motorcycle related content and, well, any kind of content really. If you are new here and you just found us, I invite you to go watch a few of my videos, and then if you decide I'm right for you, maybe consider giving us a like, a subscribe, and a share. Welcome to all my new subscribers. If you're old here, welcome back. You know what's going on. Oh, I'll tell you something, guys. This cold weather like this, which it's supposed to warm up into the 60s today, but and I'll tell you, you put on all this gear, it makes you wonder sometimes, is it really worth it? Eesh. Which, the headband I've got on, I've got a lighter one for when it warms up a little bit later on, but I've got a thick one on right now. But yeah, guys, 60s and the 70s, the golden era, I guess. We could say 80s and 90s was the golden era, or the Renaissance era. But what about the new age choppers and the new age motorcycles? When it comes to the choppers, talking about the new age stuff, I'm not sure that there's really a big difference. A chopper is a chopper is a chopper. Usually most choppers, unless it's into the Pro Street Customs or, you know, something like that, from the early 2000s, digital, you know, speedometer and all that stuff, but mostly choppers are pretty well much just stripped down 5-wire systems that don't have a whole lot of technology that goes along with them. And the reason is because the chopper owners don't want all that technology. That's not what they're looking for out of their motorcycle. So, you know, if you're going to look at what the new age of motorcycles is, you know, everything now is about big flashy screens, Bluetooth hookup, GPS, cell phone compatibility, what's my bike doing, big tuners, you know, they want to have tuners attached to them going down the road. To me, and it's going to be hard for me to relay this to where somebody might understand what it is I'm trying to say, but to me, the more of that stuff you do and the more of that stuff you get into, the farther away you get away from what motorcycling, riding a motorcycle, being an enthusiast, loving riding. The more you get into that stuff, it just, in my opinion, the farther away you get from what makes riding a motorcycle, if that makes sense. But I tell you what, guys, I got to stop over here and get Miss Kitty some fuel. Got to meet up with the milkman in the club here in just a minute and see what's going on there. But I'll get back to y'all just in a flash. Alright guys, well, met up with the club. We got milkman out front on his old FLT leading. Michelle, David, Barbara, got Dan and Sandra, and I'm running tail gunner today. But anyway, like I was saying, guys, the technology in motorcycles today has completely changed the whole landscape. Love riding a motorcycle. You know, I know the GPS thing, Fortunately, I've always had a good, you know, sense of direction. Never really had to worry about GPS or anything like that. I have pretty well much always tried to be happy with just the older stuff, because you know, all that technology that's built into the road glides and the street glides and, you know, all the stuff, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But you start getting into thousands and thousands of dollars when you get into that. So I start thinking about, you know, that in the long run. It's cool now, but in 10, 20 years, what's it going to be? You know? Is it going to last 10 years? Is it going to last 15 years? You know, sensors start going out and, you know, adapters start going bad or something like that. So I try to watch out for that stuff as far as the future, what it's going to be like, you know, in the future down the road from now. But there's nothing wrong with technology, and I'm not putting it down by any means. So I don't, you know, I don't want anybody to think I'm putting the technology down. But, you know, it kind of goes with what's been going on in the world. In that, you know, talking about, like, AT&T went off the air, their cell phones went down, their network went down here a few days ago, and you know, cell phones didn't work. Verizon's had trouble. Seems like all of the major ones have had trouble. You know, and then you have to ask yourself, well, if they're having trouble now with that, and I guess what I'm trying to get at is that have we just, are we too technical? Are we too, you know, are we depending too much on technology? Have we put ourselves in, you know, put ourselves in a bad spot because of technology? And, you know, when it gets to where, you know, you blow a sensor, you know, like even in your vehicle, you blow a sensor, well, you're looking at over $200 just to fix it. And I think that kind of ties back in to what the hooligan was talking about on his channel, Recycle Hooligan. And then I made a video about, you know, is Harley Davidson or motorcycle companies in general trying to get rid of the older riders. I think more, you know, more than anything, it's just that people don't want to kind of spend that money. You know, I know it's a running joke with Harley owners to say, you know, every cheap part on a Harley starts at $100. You know, that's a running gag, but it's really the truth. But then you get into a motorcycle, you know, like not just Harley, I mean Indian, Gold Wings, you know, that Indian Challenger, the Honda Gold Wing. You know, you start getting into all that technical stuff that can quit working properly and that don't want to work right. Then you're going to start getting into a few $1,000s just in electrical problems, electronic problems. So that's kind of one of the things that makes me kind of, you know, not against it. Like I said, I'm not against the technology, but I guess what I'm trying to say is you really need to make sure that's what you're wanting before you go spend $50,000, $60,000 on a motorcycle. So, you know, I went on to Harley Davidson, or no, it was Indian's website, just to kind of see what, you know, how all this stuff panned out. Not just with the technology, but with the bike itself, okay? So I went into Indian's website. I went to build a Challenger, and this has been a little while back. And of course, a baseline Challenger, I think it was 21, 22, or 20,998, something like that. It was early upper 20, or you know, lower 20s. So by the time you add all of the features that you wanted to add, by the time I got done, the Challenger that I built was going to cost $42,000 some odd dollars, and that's not even counting you know, you know, that's not counting your tax, your fees that you got to go through. And I was like, wow, man, you can, you know, you can get upside down in a motorcycle quick, especially if you're building one from scratch. But you know, I'm part of that old gang. You know, I like the older motorcycles because they're, you know, they're easier to work on, they're more fun to ride. I don't need all that. You know, not to say I'm against it, and not to say that it doesn't serve a, you know, serve a purpose, because they're, you know, this new generation, that's what they want. I mean, you know, let's be honest, part of my generation, that's what they want. They want that, you know, Bluetooth connectivity. They want that, you know, gizmos and gadgets. And like I said, I'm not against it. But the new age motorcycles, to me, and again, this is just me, you know, I'm not talking about everyone else. I just don't see spending that kind of money to buy a motorcycle. Michelle riding copper there. She dropped back in the pack. But you know, I know what it is. It's because I'm old school and I've always ridden motorcycles. Because I'll tell you, I used to think fancy was a fuel injection system and a digital readout on your speedometer. I always thought, you know, that's kind of what fancy is. But I can see the change, the Screaming Eagle packages and the tuners and all that good stuff. And you know, I just have to stop and ask myself, you know, it does serve a purpose, but do I need it? And for me, the answer is no, I don't. But I tell you what, guys, I'm going to focus on the ride here. I'll catch up with y'all in just a minute. Well, after some flipping and plopping, I've landed out front, leading the pack now. You know, I think the only thing that really would bother me more than the, you know, what could go wrong with the technology is, you know, I'm reached that age where I don't like super heavy. You know, and I guess that's because when I began this channel, I rode a Tour Glide, fixed fairing, you know, trunk, saddlebags, the whole 9 yard. You know, a 1,000-pound motorcycle. And if you're only riding a 1,000-pound motorcycle, you don't realize you're riding a 1,000-pound motorcycle until you're not riding a 1,000-pound motorcycle. But you know, you guys tell me in the comments, what do you think? The new age, have we lost something? Have we gained something? You know, the technology is going to have its place. And what I was saying a minute ago about the cyber attack that wasn't a cyber attack, you know what? You have to wonder, you look, all the country's power grid is on computer, water, computer, internet, computer, television, computer, cell phones, computer. You know, one attack can shut down the entire grid. And I can remember having these conversations way back in the early 2000s when cell phones really were more of a, you know, if you were working out of town, you carried a cell phone kind of thing. And I can remember conversations, you know, even in the late 90s, people talking about computers taking over the world and technology taking over the world. And, well, it's happened. I mean, you know, I think back to the 1996 T-Bone or the 1993 T-Bone. I don't think I could have ever imagined, you know, that we'd be riding motorcycles with, you know, XM, you know, or satellite radio or, you know, Bluetooth, you probably couldn't have even told me what Bluetooth was back then and made me understood it. But that's just the world we're living in now. I mean, it's all technology, and because I've seen a lot of people post here lately about especially on the 2024 like CVOs and stuff, and of course all of the 2024 motorcycles. I mean, everything's digital. Everything is I don't know, it's not just, I don't know, I have a hard time relaying what I'm trying to say about it, because we're in a technological world, that's just obvious. But are we really better in the technological world? I guess is kind of the way I look at it, kind of what I wonder. Are we really better in the technology world? You know, in a day and age where cameras are everywhere, you know, on top of poles, on motorcycles, on helmets, on cars, on trucks, on our cell phones. You know, kind of think about Cindy Lou Who from that movie How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey version, where she was asking, isn't it just a little much? But, you know, in another 20, 25 years, who knows what it'll be. You know, according to the Jetsons, back when I was a kid, we were supposed to be riding around flying cars right now, so I want my jetpack. But I tell you what, guys, I think I'm going to end this video here. I know it's kind of been all over the place, but I kind of wanted to round this series off with the new age motorcycles and all the technology. I know I kind of made it seem like I was a little bit indifferent to it, and to an extent, maybe I am. But, you know, it does have its place in the world. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to jump out of here and I'm going to finish up this ride and get to the house. Y'all remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when T-Bone's putting out a new video. And consider joining the T-Bone, Rolling with T-Bone crew here. We have a pretty good crew hanging out. But I'll tell you what, guys, till the next time, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Then, hey, thanks for watching.